Hi everybody, my name is Pepper. I'm the Asia Head of Community for Makesense, and this video is a really quick training on the Barcamp methodology. If you've heard of the Barcamp before, you know how engaging, fun, and exciting this entire methodology or this entire event is for when you're doing a bigger project. Let me tell you more about it. So a Barcamp is essentially a mini program within a bigger event that is very fun because the participants and the facilitator both get to collectively build the agenda and its content. This is really cool and helpful, especially if you're going to be the organizer of this event, or maybe you're the person in charge of facilitating the Barcamp. So the purpose of the Barcamp is really to get the different expertise, hobbies, information, and different things that people are all interested in and know extensively about into one methodology where they can just simply share with each other. So very specifically, the participants of your Barcamp would get to propose the topics or the subjects that they want to talk about for 15 to 20 minutes. And then you will then get to divide the participants, on which topics they'd like to hear. So let me tell you more about exactly each step. This is exactly what a Barcamp usually looks like. People are having fun. People have different post-its. Usually there are even more post-its. And the more attendees or the more participants you have, the more post-its and the more colorful your board is. Of course, a Barcamp can be done both offline and online. The pictures that you see on the screen are an online version, but this is very much also done offline. And actually, it began offline in the first place. Either way, it's a very fun moment for everybody. So again, I mentioned earlier, a Barcamp is usually within a bigger event. Usually organize a Barcamp during team buildings. Can be done during then when you just want a moment for everybody to talk and share. You could also especially do a Barcamp during a Sensecamp. If this is something you've heard about or something you've even attended, then you know how fun it could be to do it in person in a really nice venue, and you just get to really hear from the people. But you can also simply do Barcamps during your weekly hangouts in your own community, in your group, in whatever program you're running. This is also a very fun methodology to do. It's also very fun to do during a retreat, where usually with a retreat, you're planning, you're co-building a specific program or a strategy, and you want a moment for people just to share about things they're passionate about or they're very interested in. So those are moments when you can do a Barcamp within a bigger event or a bigger program or project. Now, again, who can participate in a Barcamp? And the answer is very simple. Everybody. The organizers can participate. The participants especially will participate because, again, the topics are going to come from them. So let's go immediately to steps to organize your Barcamp when you're doing one within a bigger event, whether that's a team building, a retreat, or even a Sensecamp. Step one is for you as a facilitator or the organizer to prepare a Google Jamboard, a mural, whatever platform you'd like to use that is a brainstorming platform. You're definitely going to need this for a Barcamp. You need a platform that has digital post-its and which is accessible to all, preferably one where you don't need people to sign up or you don't need people to register for an account, etc. And Google Jamboard usually works well since you can just send the link to everybody and they can just get on the platform really quickly. Now, if you're doing the Barcamp offline, then you can definitely just prepare post-its, in person and some colorful pens. Before you even begin with the actual proposing of topics and voting eventually, you want to make sure everybody feels at ease. You want to make sure everybody feels confident, feels connected, and of course that they've been introduced to each other. So an icebreaker works really well here. If you haven't done an icebreaker before, then this is the perfect moment to do so. But if you've done it maybe in the morning of the program, earlier, maybe even right before, then you don't need to do it all over again. You just got to make sure that people are in the zone or in the mentality of sharing. Now, step 3 is now to begin the program, to begin the actual brainstorming. You need to send a link of the platform to the people. And of course, you're going to wait for them to arrive at the document altogether. You're going to see it anyway. Usually with these things, you see how many people are already in the document, so you know how many people you're still waiting for. Once everybody is there, it would be nice to actually share your screen, again, if you're doing this online. So you can share your screen and show people all together at the same time what the Jamboard looks like or the mural looks like. And you can explain to them at the same time while showing them how to do Barcamp in that platform. So of course, you're going to want to explain to them that a Barcamp is really fun. It's hands-on. It's an exciting methodology that people get to share about things they personally like or that they personally are passionate about. And of course, something that they also are willing to teach others and willing to talk of for about 15 minutes. You need to emphasize that this whole Barcamp is going to revolve around the topics they suggest. And it has to be, of course, something they want to share about and they want to talk about. So step 4 is now to let them fill out the board, the actual Jamboard or the actual mural, whatever platform you're using, for 10 minutes. And they can fill in with any topic that they'd like. And some examples I put here is, for example, you can put the most life-changing movies I've watched. That's an interesting topic. Another one is maybe personal stories that they've gone through, like interesting stories from my life as a marine biologist. This was a real topic that was done in one of our bar camps somewhere in the Philippines. It was really fun because the person got to really share about his life as a marine biologist, and how many of us really know a lot of marine biologists unless you are one yourself, right? There's also a really cool one that was also done in a previous bar camp, again, here in the Philippines, when we were doing a retreat in Cebu, where the topic was how I pack for a 2-month trip with one backpack. That was really fun because everybody wanted to know. This is a superpower. It's a trick that you want to know how to pack really, really lightly for a 2-month trip. So people can share about things that they really like, they're passionate about, whether that ranges from movies to, I don't know, K-pop, and maybe how K-pop addresses social issues or is connected to social issues. It could be something about a sport that they like. It could be something that they learned recently. If somebody learned this new thing about, I don't know, systemic change, and they found a way to make it cooler or more accessible, then these are all the topics that they can all suggest. And what you want is for your Jamboard to look like this, where it's full of colors, full of ideas. You need to ask people to write one idea per post-it, and you don't want that one person to just use one post-it with a lot of ideas. This is very important because you're going to vote later on, and it's much easier to vote per post-it if there's only one idea or one topic per post-it. After 10 minutes, after you've timed them and you told them, all right, time's up, I'm really excited to read through all of your ideas, then you need to make sure that each post-it can be read in the board. So this is just basically logistically, you need to resize them, you need to move the different post-its just to make sure each one is recognized. And the second thing is you need to read aloud all of the ideas to make sure it's clear to everybody what the person wants to talk about. So for example, if someone wrote in a post-it, cool playlists, that is a very vague topic and you don't really understand what the person wants to talk about. So you just want to ask the person to say, oh, can you further explain what cool playlists means? You know, is it about talking about how cool playlists are good for mental health? Does this person mean that they want to talk about how cool playlists have changed their life? Just clarify this and then feel free to retype the topic in the post-it so that other people can understand it as well. And you want to do this for all of the post-its. Your role really as a facilitator is to clarify and make sure that everybody understands what each topic is, just so it's easier to vote. You know, people aren't gonna not be confused when they say, oh, cool playlist, like who wrote this? What does this mean? You just want to clarify from the beginning. And the people who suggested these topics, you also feel free to say, who wrote this? Can I know who wrote this? Because anyway, you're going to find out who wrote it. Now, I just want to remind you that for a Barcamp, even though they are free to suggest any topic that they'd like, And you yourself as a facilitator, if you want to suggest a topic, feel free to do so. But you also want to make sure you're regulating the types of topics. So maybe saying as a caveat, like, let's veer away from political debates. You don't want a bar camp to go that way. And that's not the point of the bar camp. You want to talk about positive things as much as possible, things that are going to make people happy and add positivity to their day or to their knowledge bank. And you don't want it a debate. It's not a debate at all. And usually with topics that are like more political or a bit more controversial, these usually are moments that people are opening themselves up for an argument or a debate, and a bar camp is not the time to do so. You want to feel good after a bar camp, and you don't want, to have it a more intellectual discussion. So as a facilitator, your job is also to make sure that you mention this to them when they're suggesting ideas during the 10 minutes, and also that you filter out some ideas if they're just too extreme. So if someone says that, women's rights is not true or not right, I don't know, something like this, then you want to make sure that, okay, thank you for suggesting this idea in the post-it, but I am actually going to remove it because it doesn't follow our guidelines. This has never actually happened before in my experience here in Asia, in our community, but just in case, feel free, you're the facilitator. All right, step 6 is to vote. So each person in the group gets 3 votes, and those 3 votes, they're allowed to put them in any post-it that they like, whether that's 1 vote for 3 post-its, 1 post-it with 3 of their votes. They're free to divide it as they like. They can even vote for their own post-it, whatever, and that's really up to them. So just 3 votes, give them about 3 to 5 minutes to choose which ones they like the most. And how they're going to vote, especially if it's online, is using the pen tool or the marker tool. They just need to create like a mark on the top left, on the bottom right, wherever in the post-it. Just make sure everybody's aligned on where to put the mark. And then in the end, you're going to count who wins, right? As a facilitator, you can even use your own votes to break a tie if there are any. Say the top 1 topic got 15 votes each, then you can even use your own vote to break the tie. Or you could just take in the 2 topics anyway, if you have the time. Now, the top winning votes will get to present their topics for 15 minutes. So you're going to want to say, all right, the winner of the first winner, or the one with the most votes, is the topic on how cool playlists contribute to your mental health and mental well-being. So who wrote this topic? Who suggested this? And then you're going to call out the person like, oh, all right, so Mark wrote this, whatever their name is. And so Mark will be the first one to talk for us in the next 15 minutes. And again, you'll be the one to time them during these 15 minutes to make sure that they're on time, and that you can also cut them if they go beyond 20 minutes. So with this, there's 2 things that you can do. One is if you have a smaller group, and if you only have, for example, an hour, you're just going to want to take the top 3 votes, maybe. But if you see that there are a lot of ties, a lot of votes, and maybe like the top 5 topics were chosen, then what you can do is you can do simultaneous breakouts. So if there are 6 topics, for example, and you only have an hour, what you can do is one breakout room in our Zoom call could be on topic A. Simultaneously, topic B could be presenting, and then in the next 20 minutes, topic C and D will be simultaneously be done, and then the next 20 minutes, topic E and F can be simultaneously done. You can also change it up a bit depending on if you see that people are super excited with a lot of different topics. But for example, if you really get like top 3 topics got 20 to 25 votes each, then you know that, oh, people really want to hear about this, and everybody wants to hear about a certain topic. So in the end, as an organizer and facilitator, you get to choose how you want to do the bar camp, whether that's in simultaneous version or just everybody listens to the same person for the next 1 hour. That's totally fine. But the goal here is to have fun, and I put it there in all caps because really this moment is not to debate. It's not to necessarily do a lecture, but for you to hear the excitement and the genuine passion in someone's voice when they're trying to explain why they're really good at packing, or why they're very excited about this specific movie and how it impacts the ecosystem and all these different things. So this is what you want to achieve in a Barcamp. So my takeaways after this training is for you, if you're the facilitator, be animated, be very energetic, be very excited. You need to be the one encouraging the feeling in people so that they feel open, they feel at ease. Secondly, to be aware of the timings, but don't be strict about it. So you have 10 minutes for people to vote. If they say, wait, I'm just still writing one more post-it, then that's totally fine. You don't need to cut them off. It's okay. But again, if people are presenting and it's 15 to 20 minutes, you want to time them and be able to say, hey, you have 2 minutes left, just letting you know. Thirdly, make sure the topics aren't too extreme. Like I said, you have the right to say no to a topic if it invites unhealthy debate, for example, or an unhealthy amount of discussion, or something that is not even within the range of topics you suggested them. If it's too overtly sexual or these different things, feel free to remove them. And lastly, again, have fun. So that is it for this training. Bravo for you guys. Thank you so much for watching this. You now know how to organize and facilitate a Barcamp within a bigger event. Now, again, go out there, apply what you've learned, and have fun, especially. And if you have any questions for me, you can always reach me in Facebook. My name in Facebook is simply Pepper Makesense. That's all you need to type. And I'm pretty sure I'm the only person in Facebook with this name. So you can definitely reach me there, or you can send me an email at patricia@makesense.org. Thanks so much for watching this. I'm very excited to know about your Barcamp. So do send me pictures and tell me about the results. What topics do you guys talk about? And I hope you're very excited.